Helen,
And I'm Liz,
and we're sisters
scientists,
and lifelong X-Files fans.
and this is We Want to Believe. Hello, everyone.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, good. I thought you were asking the audience for a second, and I was like, do we pause like on a children's TV show and then be like, that's very good. Nice work. Like on Blue's Clues or something.
Yeah,
We took a week off
yeah.
and now we're back.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also kind of a nuts time of the year for both of us.
Yeah. Well, I
So.
guess they will have already known we took a week off because this is 2 weeks from now. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm
But
kind of
for
brain
us.
dead, but I'm ready to listen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you watched Red Museum, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yes, I did.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yep.
Can I tell you what I remember about my Red Museum experience?
Sure. Will it ruin anything? Like, should we?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
It was like, this is a standard one-off spooky episode. Not spooky, but like icky. There's like
Yeah.
some slaughterhouse. There's somebody who works in a slaughterhouse, but like then there's like these like vegetarians
Yeah.
and they're mean to the one boy who wears a white hat and la la la. Pretty good episode. And I remember watching it in college when it was on TV and I just like dozed off. It was probably 2 a.m, somewhere in the middle of it. And then I watched it again and got to the end and was like, oh my God. Okay, this is
Yeah.
something else entirely.
Yes.
And I don't really remember much beyond that feeling, but I know it's big, so I'm excited.
Well, I will tell you. You all can let us know how we sound. We now have a more professional setup. Well, I say midway between professional and what we were doing before. So,
And I guess we should say Helen, who is recording this, has it. I am still using my laptop with my $6 headphones from Walgreens, so which seem like the best ones I have. So if
Yeah.
you notice Helen sounds good and I don't, perhaps that could be why.
yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we start out, it shows JASD beef. And it's showing like a slaughterhouse, essentially.
Yeah.
And it shows a bunch of poor little cowsies that look like my dogs, mostly
God.
Rufus.
Oh God. Oh no, don't make me too sad. Just
I
gloss
won't.
over anything that makes me sad.
Sure.
Okay.
It shows butchers, like it shows them, and it like highlights a few so we can see like the faces of a few of them, which will later become important. So then it just kind of shows them working. And then we see a kind of teenage boy watching TV, and it's some sort of like standoff news thing with police and
Gotcha. Yeah.
And another younger kid is also there, and a woman walks in, and it's like their mom getting home from work, and she was one of the butchers.
Yeah.
So she tells them to order pizza and goes to start taking a shower, and you can see that someone is watching her from somewhere.
God, that's right. Like from a peephole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And the person has glasses, so we can't notice much about them. Although it's pretty clear it's a man and he's wearing glasses.
Okay.
So the older kid gets a phone call while his mom is in the shower and tells his brother he'll be back in 5 minutes. And I can't remember, I didn't write it down. He calls him something stupid. He kind of has like a Wayne from the Wonder Years sort of vibe.
I hate that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But then next we see the mom is on the phone, panicked, and saying that he was supposed to be gone for 5 minutes, but he's been missing for 4 hours.
Oh my God.
So the kid is missing. The older kid.
Yeah, the teenager. Wayne.
Yeah. Right.
If you will. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it shows him in the woods in his underwear and looking real freaked out and kind of running around. And he kind of runs in front of a cop car, and the cops get out and they get him a blanket, and he turns around and they see that he is one has been written on his back.
Right. Yes.
Yep. And this reminded me he is one.
Mhm.
Have I told on the podcast the story about my experience on an airplane?
No, you haven't. Oh my
Okay.
God. Yeah. Oh my
That's
God.
it's slightly related. This is what I immediately thought of though. So back in 2013, I went to a conference in St. Louis and I took a plane from Madison. And so it went like Madison to Chicago to St. Louis and then the reverse on the way home. And so it was, good conference. Got to see Cahokia. And you don't know what that is.
No, I don't. What is Cahokia?
Cahokia is a mound. It's from
okay.
Civilization of Mound Builders.
Do you know what I assumed it was?
No.
Like Lucy or something, like a proto-human that they just bring with to the conference. Like I didn't really think it through. I just pictured them being like, oh, special thing at the conference. Here's this frozen ape lady. Anyway, this is neither here nor there. I'll let you.
Also neither here nor there, but makes me think of that is that we're doing reproductive anatomy right now in my anatomy class. And someone accidentally called the cervix cilantro. And that cracked me up.
Good Lord. Yeah. I mean, wow.
So anyway, so I had a good conference, saw Cahokia, was coming home, and I was in the St. Louis airport and was I was getting on the plane. I'm sorry, this is more rambling than usual.
It's okay.
So I'm getting on the plane in St. Louis. I was there by myself. I was traveling by myself. And you know how when you're on an airplane and you're all trying to get seated, there's usually like a bit of a stop where, people in front of you are putting their bags up above and you're just kind of standing there holding your bag, like waiting to keep going.
Yeah.
And so that was the situation. And I was relatively close to the front. And I was just kind of looking around kind of casually, and I make eye contact with a guy who looked remarkably like the guy from Contact, the Jodie Foster movie, the creepy guy.
The creepy guy, the one who was going to blow up the
Matthew
spaceship.
McConaughey.
Right.
Yes.
That would also be a good noteworthy story.
Yeah.
But the guy who was going to blow up the shuttle.
Yes.
Space shuttle. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he looked remarkably like him, and he makes intense eye contact with me and says, "You'll be the one to save us all."
Oh my God. Every time you tell it, it blows my mind. Oh my God.
That was it.
I don't know what I would have done.
Nope. And the line started moving. And so I started moving and I got to my seat and was real freaked out.
Yeah.
And normally I am very happy to take plane naps. And like as soon as I get seated, I'll settle in with some earbuds and listen to something. And although I probably didn't have earbuds in 2013.
Not wireless ones, but I'm sure you had earbuds.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Not Bluetooth ones.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Just that our mom complains about the fact that you and I just immediately go to sleep on planes and leave her bored. Yeah.
I love plane naps.
I know.
But I did not take one.
No,
that time.
I imagine not. You had to be awake so you could save everyone.
Yeah. Yep. Although, he didn't give a timeline.
Oh my God.
So then the plane lands and I had like almost kind of forgotten about it because things were normal.
Yeah.
But someone says like, well, the person in seat, blah, 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 stay put, and everyone else get off the plane. And so we're walking up the plane and it was the woman who was told to stay put had been sitting next to that guy.
Oh, okay.
And she was like in tears and really upset. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so then I get off the plane and some official looking airport people are talking to that guy in like the gate area.
Yeah.
And so I'm freaked out, but I'm like, all right, gonna go, get on my plane to Madison.
Yeah.
And I eventually get to my gate, and that guy is on the same plane
Oh my God.
going from Chicago to Madison.
O'Hare is so big. What are the
Yeah.
odds, you know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he like, there was some point where he was like yelling, and he was
Right.
like taken away for questioning, and
Oh my
like,
God.
and so then eventually we get on the plane and we're about to take off to Madison, and he walks on the plane and was there anyway.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that was extremely tense.
So it's possible he lives in Madison. Like, it's
It is.
possible I could run
Yeah.
into him.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. It's also possible that I'll be the one to save us all. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. God, I wonder what happened to that woman sitting next to him. Like,
I
Jesus.
know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I called Zach before getting on the plane to Madison when I saw that he was at that gate.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, I'm getting on the plane. All right, you know I love you, right? And like was trying not to freak him out, but was like, all right. Thinking like this could
God.
be it.
Me and Adam leaving our hostel with our students 2 summers ago in Amsterdam, we took 2 different shuttles, and we always go in separate shuttles with all our students to the airport, and Adam's shuttle left like at least 5 minutes before mine. My guy was running late, and he flew up there. I may have told you this, and he drove. It was insane how he drove, and he didn't act like you're a crazy guy. It's more that a similar conversation between myself and Adam as between you and Zach, because he just is aiming for these red lights, and he's not slowing down at all. It's 6 a.m. There's no other traffic. And like right as he approaches, they turn green. So it became clear, he knows the timing so well. And he's just flying. And then, nope. Then the next one is just solid red, and he just blows through it. And he's blowing through red lights, and he's driving, I don't know how fast, real fast. And he could see I was nervous. And he's like, I can see you need music to relax. And he turns on like real loud, some early 90s rap. and I just like, I could see my students just like shaking with laughter. And so I just texted Adam like, just in case, I love you, but hopefully we'll be there soon. And we ended up passing their van and beating them to the airport. And he had a Turkish accent, it turns out, because we got out of the van, and he said, "Thank you for flying Turkish Airlines. Have a nice day."
Oh my gosh.
It was incredible, but terrifying.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So anyhow,
anyway,
yes. So your guy
one.
He is one. You're with the one to save us all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's the intro, and I thought that was a train or something.
A train?
I thought I heard a weird noise.
Oh, it might have been the cord being fuzzy. I was leaning over to write down with a marker, "Helen will save us all." So
Okay,
anyway.
So after the intro, Mulder is talking about Gary Kane to Scully. They're, in their office in DC doing the kind of debriefing thing. And it turns out that's the boy's name, Gary Kane.
Okay.
And he lives in Wisconsin.
I was going to say, I thought this was Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So, maybe this guy that you saw on the plane was involved.
Oh my gosh, for real.
Yeah.
And he's saying that there are other victims, all located in eastern Wisconsin, about 3 towns away.
Okay.
And they later say it's Delta Glen, Wisconsin, which doesn't exist.
That's too bad.
Too bad. Yeah. And Mulder says that the sheriff in town thinks that the kids have been possessed, that's what's going on.
That's normal.
Yeah. So it shows them in Delta Glen, Wisconsin, with the sheriff, and they're in the car talking to him, and he tells them about a nearby church called the Red Museum, and that they follow a guy named Odin who moved there, wasn't from the area, and they're vegetarians who got a ranch in the area shut down. And so they get to the church, and they see people walking around wearing white with red turbans.
Oh, it was a red turban. I had it switched. Okay.
And Scully says that given what he said about them, that they seem unlikely to have been involved with these kinds of activities. Like, he's saying like they're vegetarians, they saved a bunch of cows, apparently, like they seem
Yay.
unlikely
They're very
to
peaceful.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
museum is another word for hat. Anyway,
maybe.
that's all. Because I've always wondered, like, why is it red museum? But they do have red turbans. So maybe museum is just a word for hat. Maybe. You can continue now.
Okay. So they walk into the church and everyone is just sitting there quiet. And it's real kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And a guy gets on stage, presumably Odin, and starts typing. And a woman starts reading the words. So like he's not speaking. He's
weird.
Just typing.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she starts saying that like churchy stuff, kind of talks about the dawning of the age of Aquarius, says that the guides are speaking through him today.
Okay.
And so Mulder whispers something about walk-ins to Scully and says something about believers of soul transfers.
Okay.
And so they're still in the church and Odin types out the woman says, "Today we bear witness to 3 who do not believe." And so they all turn and see Mulder and Scully and the sheriff.
Okay.
And that they slaughtered the flesh. That they who slaughter the flesh slaughter their own souls and must be taught the way. So it's a little bit like threatening. It's a little bit threatening.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I want to be taught the way. Although I'm a vegetarian, I don't need to be taught the way.
You don't need to be taught the way.
Yeah, we're safe. Haha.
So they go back and talk to Gary, and he says that he only remembers parts of it. Says that he felt a spirit enter him and that it might have been an animal spirit, and he doesn't remember who had called him, asking him like why he left the house.
Okay, yeah.
And so Scully is kind of looking around and runs into his little brother, who's named Stevie. Mm-hmm. And we see through the same sort of point of view of the guy in the peephole.
I already forgot about him. Yeah. Okay.
Looking through the hole, watching Scully and the little boy.
Yeah.
So they go to a restaurant, and there's a moment in the restaurant when Scully has some sauce on her face, and Mulder like reaches over to wipe it off for her. That's cute.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about how walk-ins are a new age concept where if someone is feeling desperate and down, that they then become vulnerable to an enlightened spirit.
That's really weird.
Yeah. So this is like a new agey sort of concept. But there's a lot of other things to get to in this episode. So, I mean, it's priorities, what he says.
Yeah.
And Mulder says he's not discounting the theory of possession. And Scully says that she got the creeps in the apartment today. Probably because she was being watched.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I hope that every time I get the creeps, it's not because I'm being watched. I feel like...
by Archer. It would just be by Archer.
Oh, he's so good. Yeah. Yeah, I woke up from a nightmare last night where me and you and Mom were like staying in what was sort of like a house, but also kind of an igloo. And it was really big. And like, I knew you two were in like the front of it. And I was coming inside from the front. And then I heard the back door open and I knew no one else was supposed to be around. And it was someone who had been like stalking us or something. And I was like, he's here. And I don't know what that meant. And then I woke up and I was terrified. So,
that's super creepy.
It was really creepy. I later had a dream where Adam was like, I'm going to have some waffles. And that was it. And it was noteworthy because he doesn't usually eat waffles. So
it's a much better dream.
Yeah. So I have like a whole range of experiences in my dreams. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I have a recurring dream like pretty frequently. And especially like as work gets stressful, it ramps up. Mm-hmm. Well, I have one recurring dream about being in a morgue, which is creepy.
Whoa. Yeah.
But that's actually not what I was going to say. This one is, so I was homeschooled for the end of high school, you know?
Yes, I do know. Yep.
I know.
But our listeners don't. Yes. Yeah. This isn't your dream. This is real. Yeah.
Right. This is real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my high school diploma is technically like through a homeschool. Like it's, not through the official high school in our area. And so I frequently have a dream where they make me go back and finish high school and I have to walk in a ceremony with a bunch of high schoolers.
God, that's awful. Oh my God.
always being like, but I have a PhD. And they're like, no, you have to finish this. Like,
That sounds like the plot of a like sitcom or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it does. So they hear a commotion outside and they go out to investigate, and some teenagers are being jerks to one of the Red Museum members.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and Mulder breaks it up, and one of the kids says something like, go call my dad, see what he has to say about this, about like Mulder kind of being
It's
stern.
the sheriff's son, isn't it?
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
And his name is Rick. We find out.
Okay.
So we see him drop off one of the girls he was with, and
we see Rick do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And she's walking home from there, like just kind of outside her house, and she hears a dog crying behind some trash cans. No,
is the
dog's
dog okay?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And she keeps asking its name, apparently, or she calls it Pupper Dog. And she keeps asking, why is Pupper Dog here? Which I just thought was funny. And suddenly someone covers her mouth with a cloth, like, chloroform style.
Like chloroform,
Yeah, and grabs her. And so then
I heard that if you combine some household cleaners and some toilet scrubs, that it can make chloroform.
I would believe it. I don't know chemically but I would believe that.
Yeah.
I used to have to work with chloroform a lot because you use it when you're doing organic DNA extractions. And so it like evaporates really quickly. Which, was like the whole deal. So I'd be in like working under a hood, and it would like if you're working and you like spill some like 100% ethanol, it'll like evaporate pretty quickly, right? It's alcohol. But it was like super alcohol, like it would do that like really quickly, and it was also had like a super slimy feeling to it. I don't know. I can picture. Yeah,
I honestly didn't know chloroform. I didn't know chloroform had uses other than making people pass out.
Oh,
so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So this girl who's friends with Rick, the sheriff's son jerk, she is chloroformed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then we see her wandering around the woods in her underwear.
Okay.
And we see from her point of view, we see like a crow is like up in her face and like kind of like hallucination looking. And then like some bugs are crawling all over her. Like it's clear like she's hallucinating or something.
Okay.
So then it shows Mulder and Scully in their hotel room talking. And Scully says that she just took a look at the girl and that there wasn't much until the tox report showed an unspecified alkaloid in her blood, possibly an opioid derivative, and a dangerous amount of scopolamine. Do you know what scopolamine is?
No. I was going to try to come up with some bullshit, but no, I have no idea.
And Mulder says, isn't that what's used for motion sickness? And it is. And
is
Scully
that like
a patch? A scopolamine patch?
Oh, no. I just the stuff that I bought. Dramamine. Is it like Dramamine?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they both have motion sickness.
Okay. But all right. Fair enough.
This is like much more hardcore.
Oh, okay.
And works by a different mechanism.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And Scully says that yes, but anything above like that's in like super small amounts, but anything over that can cause hallucinations. And that it's a controlled substance. So you would have to have a doctor or a pharmacist to get that much of it.
Okay.
So
and she had it in her blood. Okay.
Right. So Scully starts reading info about Odin. And she has picked up that his name is Doug Herman and that he left the AMA, the American Medical Association, in 1986 after an ethics inquiry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they knock on his door to talk to him, but he won't allow them inside because they eat meat, and says that if they need to talk to him, they can get a warrant. And they turn around, and this is, I think, the creepiest part. There's all sorts of members of the church just like silently have grouped themselves around Mulder and Scully's car. So like they turn back and their car is surrounded.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of the sound of that Amish People Become Aliens episode that we watched. Yeah. Where they're like out on the like compound and they're like, calling each other brother and sister. This is different and more new agey, but I feel like creepily appearing and witnessing things has the same vibe.
Yeah. And they basically tell him like, well, we don't need to get a warrant. We'll just arrest you.
Okay.
They say it different than that. I'm sure there's some sort of legal precedent. I don't know. They arrest him. They take him to the police station. And so Scully asks if he's familiar with scopolamine, and he asks if she's familiar with bovine growth hormones and the treatment of cows, and kind of like is going on. And Mulder's like, well, will you just answer the question? Yeah. And he says that he knows of it, but he hasn't ever prescribed it. And Mulder asks, do your religious beliefs preclude you from exacting revenge, either physically or psychically, on those who oppose you? Which I thought was a pretty great question.
Do they prohibit psychic revenge?
Yeah. So they get interrupted because of problems down the street. Like a cop comes in, might be the sheriff. And so Mulder, Scully, and the sheriff go to see what's going on. And the church people are preaching in front of some sort of store. Like they're all grouped together and they're kind of like preaching loudly. And honestly, it reminds me of in Guys and Dolls, where we first meet Sarah Brown and they're like in front of the stores. Yeah. And Rick pulls up with a bucket and throws cow's blood on them.
Jesus Christ. I can't think of a worse place to have your vegetarian cult than small town Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, so if you recall, it's I shouldn't call it a cult. It's not a cult, but there's a
oh my God, the people in the Dells with the really good restaurant.
Yeah, there is a highly religious,
delicious
vegetarian restaurant in the Wisconsin Dells. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
oh my God. Do you think there's any chance that it was sort of inspired by this episode, or vice versa? The episode was inspired by that?
You know, I looked into it and this seems like pretty more solidly Christian. And they don't wear any sort of like robes or anything. So maybe it was partially inspired, but
but no, that's disappointing. Okay.
Yeah. But, would you like to, I do have a fact though. Okay. Would you like to guess the four states in the US that have the largest amount of cults in them?
Okay. California.
Yeah, that's the first. And it's 33% of cults are in California.
Okay. Well, I mean, they have a high population, and I feel like, look, it's like the place to be if you want to have a cult, I think.
It is.
All right. Utah.
No.
Oh.
Unless we're counting Mormonism.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I don't know the official rules. I don't know what's his face. I would count that one type of Mormonism, but anyway, with the Warren Jeffs and all that. But anyhow, okay, other states. Oregon.
No.
I guess
think about population. Your comment about population.
Oh, yeah, probably New York.
Yes.
Okay.
California and New York. New York has 12% of the cults in it. And then the next two, I found very surprising, although maybe it's population based as well.
Massachusetts?
No, think closer to home. Not Wisconsin.
Illinois?
Yeah. Illinois.
No. Really?
Yeah. 7% of cults are in Illinois. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Do you want to, then there's one more.
Yeah.
And this, I feel like if you think about weird things in the US, you can get
Florida?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
4%.
I know I was just listening to an episode of How Did This Get Made, where they were talking about some terrible movie where I don't remember even any of the context, but they say something that, like, a character who's researching something says he got a list of all of the cults in the United States. Like, he looked up some, and I was just like, oh, we just have like a list where he can just check all of the cults. Like, people aren't like, let me register my cult, like, officially. Yeah.
You have to, go through the paperwork.
Right. Yeah. Like, it's like starting an LLC. Right. Okay.
So the sheriff sees Rick throw the cow's blood and he's pissed off and is like not okay with it, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. So then Scully looks over and there's a guy. Oh, can you hear the bells?
No.
No.
No, I cannot hear the bells. Is this like our dad? Like, are you hearing an organ?
No, it's 4 o'clock and the bells from the chapel on
thank God.
campus.
Okay. No, I can't do them at all.
Okay. I can. So there's a guy in a red truck that starts signaling to Scully to come talk to him. And so she goes over. He says that he wants to show them something. And so it shows Mulder and Scully just riding in this guy's pickup truck, which I know they're federal agents, but it just seems unwise. But yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So he shows them some pasture land that he says used to belong to his grandfather and goes, he died right over there. Like, not at all weird.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And he points out some men who are injecting the cows with bovine somatotropin, or BST, which is a genetically engineered growth hormone.
Okay.
And he says that people here have changed over the years, that they've had 7 rapes that year, all by high school boys. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
And says,
oh my God, sorry. Yep.
Did you just remember something?
Memories are coming back. That this...
Just wait.
Can I
don't spoil it.
Okay, fine. All right.
Says that the kids found in the woods are all due to the growth hormone, is his theory.
Okay.
So it shows up close one of the guys who was injecting the cows, and it's the spy guy, the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
The whole guy.
Yeah, the spy
is
guy.
One of the people injecting the cows.
Okay.
So it suddenly shows people who are in a plane that's about to crash, and the plane explodes on impact. And I legitimately thought I had switched episodes. I was like, this is
that's
like
weird.
Alien, like what this, but no, it's the same episode.
I also feel like I guess they didn't have you on board to save them all.
Yeah. So then we see people looking at the crash. It was like a very small plane. And Mulder and Scully arrive, and they're told that they're trying to ID the pilot, but the passenger has been ID'd, and he was a doctor in the area, Dr. Larson, and they found a briefcase full of cash and then some vials of like injectable medication.
Okay.
Yeah. So back in the hotel, Scully's getting off the phone, and Mulder comes in, and they basically had both independently put together that all of the kids that were, found in the woods, whatever, were delivered by and treated as children by Dr. Larson.
Okay.
So then we see...
Like he was their pediatrician or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And delivered them.
Okay.
And so it shows some people on a farm again, including the guy who was spying. And he drives off right as some government-looking guy pulls up to the farm in a big government-looking car. And the other guy is still there, just another farm person. And the guy in the car gets out and shoots that guy.
He shoots the spy guy?
Nope, spy guy drove away right before government guy got there.
Oh, right, got it. Yes, he shoots other guy, friend of spy guy. Okay.
Yeah. And so Mulder and Scully are at Gary's house and asks to talk to his mom and asks about anything strange, like, they explain their Dr. Larson theory and might he have done anything strange when treating Gary? And she says that, no, he's never been sick a day in his life, which is
also weird, right? Yeah,
for sure. And Scully's like, well, so why was he seeing Dr. Larson so much?
Wait, was it, can I say it? Because I think I remember.
Yeah.
Was it vitamin shots?
Yes.
Yeah. And that phrase came back to me. Yeah. It was for his vitamin shots.
Yeah. And he gave them to a lot of kids in the area and said it was like treating their teeth with fluoride. And the mom says that Jay, their dad, wasn't okay with it. And Mulder asks, like, well, where is their dad? And she says that apparently 7 years ago, he was killed in an incident at the packing plant with one of the machines, which is awfully suspicious.
Yes.
So Mulder is standing there and he notices like a light coming from the other room, like you would through like a window or something. And so he notices then the hole in the wall.
Nice.
He notices.
Yeah.
And so it's coming from behind the bathroom mirror. And behind there, he like busts through and there's a ton of videotapes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then we see two teenage boys in a truck listening to music and drinking beer.
Okay.
And one gets out to pee. Oh God, he said something. I almost don't want to say it, but I kind of want to say it because I want to share the horror. He said something like he has to go drain the lizard.
Drain the lizard. Yes.
Yeah.
It came to me as well. Why are these the phrases that stuck in my head? Also, place a house with recording equipment in it. I need to pause and make a recommendation to you and all our listeners. A book called Liar, Dreamer, Thief. It's by Maria Dong. It's really, really good. I'm not going to give too much away about it. It's a really unique sort of thriller. It's about this. It starts with like this woman who is kind of obsessed with this dude that she works with and like sees them as kindred spirits. And she has some like mental health issues in the past and she's living alone and, or no, she's not living alone, but her roommate's gone a lot. So she's alone a lot. Mm-hmm. And then this guy she's obsessed with disappears and she has reason to think something bad happened to him. And it goes from there.
What was the name of it again?
Liar, Dreamer, Thief.
Okay, awesome. Oh, that sounds great.
Really good. I need to talk to someone else about it. And it's like lots of twists and turns. And like, I just know, I think I was on a plane actually. I got to this one part and was like, oh my God. So yeah.
Did you hate it when you're like, I need to talk to someone about this?
Yes.
Who can I talk to about this?
Yes. Yeah. I'm just like looking around. Yeah. I had that with, I also recommend, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone.
Oh, really? I haven't heard of that.
Really, really good. I made Adam read it. I was just like, you just have to. You have no choice. Ooh. Like, it's a really, really well done. Mystery novel. It's by Benjamin Stevenson. Yeah, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, and it's
cool.
It's fantastic. It's really unique.
You read The Silent Patient, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by the same person who did the other book. It doesn't matter. I've read it. I can't think of the guy. I can see his name, but
Alex
I don't know how to pronounce it. And that's
Yep.
exactly how I pronounce it in my head.
Yep.
Alex.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't read his other book. Was it good?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't remember anything. I know it won awards, so probably.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to go urinate. And the other guy is sitting there with the window open. And someone reaches a hand in and puts a rag over his mouth. And he is abducted.
Peeing guy or truck guy?
Truck guy was abducted.
Okay.
And we see... or I saw at least then that it was Rick. And the guy who abducts him looks to be Spy Guy. Looks to be the guy with the glasses.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And Rick was the driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it shows the police in the woods and the sheriff walks up and Rick is lying there and written on his back is he is one like the others, but he's dead this time.
Oh my God. I did not remember that. Yow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, A, he's fictional, so I don't have to be too torn up about his death, but mostly B, he dumped cow's blood on that nice cult member, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rick. Time to die. Anyway,
so
sorry, continue.
They figure out through all the videotapes somehow that the guy with the glasses is Gerd Thomas. That Spy Guy.
Gerd, huh?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Like the god in Paxenarian.
Oh, I was thinking like gastroesophageal reflux disease.
I was talking to Amanda and Connie last night, and I was talking at length about what I meant to be talking about was accommodations at school, because I was talking about my stepdaughter's teaching job, and I was intending to be talking about IEPs.
Oh, uh-huh.
But I was talking about IEDs, which is incendiary explosive device. Yeah. And I was just like, and like a lot of the students have IEDs, but they don't, really use them. And so the school doesn't actually put anything in place with them. So, okay. So Gerd is the glasses man, Spy Guy.
Yeah. Yep. And apparently he used to run a daycare center out of that apartment building.
Ooh.
And yeah. And so they're talking, and Scully sees a car drive past. They bring him into the police station, and they're talking to him. And Scully sees a car drive past, and it's the guy who shot the other guy. So the government looking guy who pulled in and just,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she says she knows his face.
Right. And that is where things get interesting.
Yes, it's about to, but that's not quite where.
I just have this memory. I'm sitting in DeKalb in my first apartment and being like, why does Scully know his face? What's going on in this episode, you guys? Oh my God. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're at the police station. They're talking to Gerd Thomas. And apparently Mulder says he had videos of kids on the tapes. So it sounds like some pretty bad stuff he was doing. And he admits that he kidnapped the teenagers, but he said that he never murdered anybody, and he wasn't the one to kill Rick. But he admits that he kidnapped them, and he says that he really loved those kids.
But he also was giving them scopolamine or whatever to make them hallucinate?
Not quite. So he says, because those kids have become monsters, because of Dr. Larson, because of the tests. And when he says the tests, Scully has a flashback to where she's seen that guy before, and he was the one who shot Deep Throat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's right. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like sitting in shock right now, even though I knew there was a twist at the end of this episode. I forgot that was that much. What's he doing in Wisconsin?
I will tell you.
Okay.
So, spy guy, glasses guy, Gerd Thomas says he was paying them, says Dr. Larson was paying them a lot of money to inject cattle with something, and they didn't know what it was. And Dr. Larson told his boss that he felt responsible, told spy guy's boss that he felt responsible for everything the kids had done, and that he was giving them the same inoculations as they were giving the cattle.
So these inoculations he was giving them of bovine growth hormone or whatever,
whatever
something. Yeah, was making the kids mean and aggressive and like monsters. And Gerd spy guy Thomas was handling things by marking them as okay. All right. I'll just let you get to it.
Yeah. So the kids had been getting whatever the same inoculations were. Now, remember, there were vials of medicine found with the cache after the plane crash.
Right.
And so Scully comes back in the room and says that the results are in from what was in the vial. So presumably what they had been injecting the kids in the house with, right?
Yeah.
And it's inconclusive because it contains synthetic corticosteroids with unidentified amino acids. And she says, that's purity control, Mulder.
What?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God. And just a reminder of why I'm screaming, in the episode in which Deep Throat is killed, that's what the vial was labeled. That was
the Erlenmeyer flask.
Yeah, the Erlenmeyer flask. Yeah, and that was the stuff that scientist was dead from, etc. I'm suddenly mixing up episodes. Yeah. That's the one where there's like a dude and he's running and he goes in the water and he's got green blood. Or is that a different one? Yeah, that's that one. Green blood. And then Mulder sees the crash. And then, And then, they switch the cars because Deep Throat left him a videotape. And they switch the cars and Mulder figures things out and he goes to the lab of the guy who's on the run. Yeah. And the guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So in other words, this same stuff, they found that like shady government alien stuff is also being injected into these children and cows in Wisconsin.
Right. So Mulder says that somebody's been paying to have those kids, because there was all that money, remember?
Yeah.
To have those kids injected with alien DNA and to see how they react, like how the kids react to it. And it's been going on for years. And he thinks that the guy who shot Deep Throat and who, shot that other guy in Wisconsin is there to clean up because people are essentially catching on.
Oh my God.
So Mulder runs.
So the Red Museum was also a red herring.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe museum is another word for herring.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Um, so Mulder runs back to the apartment and asks where Gary is. And his mom says he's in his room. And Mulder tells him to pack some clothes and come with him. And like it's clear he wants to get them safe. And so some cops arrive too. And Mulder tells them to get all the kids who have been abducted and tell them to pack up with their families and get somewhere safe.
Okay. Because that government guy who killed Deep Throat is coming to kill them.
Right.
To like erase the evidence or whatever.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So then it cuts to Mulder at Odin's door from the Red Museum asking for his help.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yep. And so all of the families go to the church's barn to stay safe and stay together and protected. That Odin lets them do that.
Because he's a better person than they are.
Yep. And so Scully is at the barn and she's talking to the sheriff and she asks where Mulder is. And Mulder says, or I'm sorry, the
sheriff asks where Mulder is. No.
Nope. Scully asks where Mulder is.
Sorry.
Sheriff knows and says that Mulder thought that there was another place where that guy might be and is out looking for him.
Oh God, Mulder.
But yeah, exactly. So it shows Mulder in the factory or in the plant or slaughterhouse, whatever.
Yeah.
And he has his gun drawn and he's looking for the guy. It's super creepy because all the meat is like hanging there.
God,
like,
I remember that. I don't know if I could even like look directly at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was blood on the floor and I typed a word that I tried to make sound like, blah.
Yeah.
And so we see Mulder, or we see the guy, we see Mulder too. And Mulder they see each other. He's there. And the guy runs. And at one point he knocks Mulder down and locks him in a room and is about to light a tub of gasoline on fire.
My God.
When Scully is there and holds him at gunpoint.
Okay. And she's got him at gunpoint. She's got the Deep Throat guy at gunpoint.
Yeah. Yep. And Mulder earlier had said, like, I want him alive. Like, I want to know what's going on. But then the sheriff kind of loses it and shoots him and kills him.
Sheriff.
Mm-hmm. So Mulder gets out and the police lead the sheriff away. And then it kind of shows the Deep Throat guy laying there and Scully's narrating her notes saying that the identity of the man who was killed can't be identified. The components of the serum had eventually broken down. And so they couldn't be studied anymore. Mm-hmm. And this tracks with the flu-like illness the people in the town who had been inoculated were suddenly experiencing. So it was like they were stopped. They stopped getting the injections because they were stopped. Dr. Larson was killed. And however, none of the members of the Church of the Red Museum have been affected. And it is believed that they were being used as a control and that the milk and beef may have been tainted and the case remains unsolved.
Oh my God. Interesting.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And that's the Red Museum.
I mean, that's a good episode.
Yeah. 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 It was a very good episode.
It makes me think, I mean, because this was all when I was watching when it was around this time. And I briefly dated that guy, Larry, in college.
Oh, Larry. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was fine. But but I just always think about what he told me is that his dad worked at like a slaughterhouse and how he became a vegetarian his dad did as a consequence because of the things he'd done. Wow. And he was like, I'm not eating meat ever again. Yeah.
Wow. So a friend of mine interviewed at a slaughterhouse.
Jesus Christ.
And didn't take the job and then became a vegetarian just after interviewing.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Wow. Yikes. Yeah. I'm glad that you and I managed to become vegetarians without having to go to a slaughterhouse first.
Yeah.
It's easier, nicer.
Yeah. So and the next is
Excelsius Dei.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it right.
I don't either, but it sounds right to me.
I believe I recall that is something involving a retirement home. That's all I remember. There's like possibly possession, but possibly possession could be like a good solid third of these episodes. I don't know that it actually is, but like something. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, but he can't have done that. He was in a wheelchair. Oh, but was he? But I don't know. I might be
Oh,
remembering it
yeah.
wrong. And like, there's like an old dude who's kind of creepy, but
Sure.
like in a like sleazy way, maybe. But
Okay.
then yeah, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I mean, I remember
Yeah.
that more than I remembered about whatever that one I just watched was Fire.
Yeah.
No, Fire
Firewalker.
Walker. Yeah, Fire
Yeah. Not
Walker.
to be
Yeah.
confused with fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so that'll be up next,
Cool.
which I mean, hey, it'll be
Yeah.
better than that vampire one, and it'll at least be something different than Firewalker, which was just ice, but on a
Yeah.
volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
Do
God,
we
though.
have, we don't have any stories or anything, do we?
No, but I did have a dream that there were aliens in my house and
Oh,
they
no.
were leaving. They were like being beamed back up and they took Archer, my dog, and they just because they liked him. It wasn't like to experiment on him. They were just like, we're taking him. And then I could like I was trying, he was floating up in the air and I like tried to keep him with me and I grabbed his tail and it like slid
Oh,
out of my
no.
hand, his pointy tail, and it was terrible. So
Oh,
yeah.
although I
Um,
feel like, I don't know. Fair enough. He's a
Yeah.
very
I mean,
cute
yeah, it was
little
like, it was
guy.
sad, but it was also like, it wasn't disturbing exactly
Yeah.
because I knew they just liked him. So
Yeah.
it was okay. And it was also sort of like I knew I was living inside an X-Files episode, but
Ah,
like it still felt real.
yeah.
Yeah, no listener stories. I do have potential news. I believe I told you we may be doing a special episode all
Oh
about
my gosh, that's
Mars
right. Because
with a
we were supposed,
special Mars interview.
yeah, we
Uh,
were
well, not
supposed
with
to
Mars
start this
itself, but
live from Mars.
yeah.
Right, because we were supposed to start this episode by talking about Mars, but we
Yeah.
didn't because we may have
Yeah. We have
a
some
special episode.
things in the works. We have some things in the
That's
works.
right.
And yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. We should have an
Yeah,
upcoming special, a Mars special, all about
cool.
Mars.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Neat. Cool. All right. Well, until next time. Bye.
Later. Bye.